I thought my wife's second phone was just for work. Then I noticed it was never turned off at night. And that's when I realized something didn't make sense. I found the second phone in our kitchen drawer on a Tuesday night. It wasn't hidden carefully. That's what made it strange. It was sitting under a stack of unopened envelopes next to the place where we kept spare batteries and old chargers. Not locked away, not wrapped, just placed there like something temporary. At first I assumed it was mine. We had a drawer like that in the kitchen where forgotten electronics ended up. Old cables, dead remotes, chargers from devices we no longer owned, things that stayed there until we finally threw them away months later. But this phone was charged. The screen lit up when I touched it. That meant it wasn't forgotten. It meant it was being used. When my wife came into the kitchen, I held it up and asked the simplest question possible. "What's this?" She didn't hesitate. "That's my work phone." The answer came too fast to be prepared, like she had said it before, like she expected the question eventually. "I didn't know you had one," I said. "They gave it to me last year," she replied while opening the refrigerator and not looking at me. "Last year. We told each other everything about work, schedules, projects, new managers, office changes, even small things like someone moving desks or switching departments. A second phone was not a small thing." "How come I never saw it before?" I asked. "I keep it in my bag," she said. That answer sounded reasonable. People keep work phones separate. People keep work phones private. People keep work phones quiet at home. But this phone wasn't in her bag. It was in our kitchen drawer. That didn't match what she just said. "Why is it here?" I asked. "I forgot to put it back," she answered. Again, too fast. Again, ready. Again, complete, like she had already explained it before in her head. I placed the phone back into the drawer exactly where I found it and closed it without saying anything else. Because there was something about the way she said "last year" that stayed with me. Not the words, the timing. Last year was when she started coming home later on Thursdays. Not every Thursday, just enough Thursdays to notice. At first I accepted the explanation. Work phone, separate device, different number. That happens. People in management roles sometimes receive them. People working with clients sometimes need them. People handling internal systems sometimes aren't allowed to use personal devices for security reasons. Everything about her answer sounded normal, except the part where I had never heard about it before. That night I paid attention to something I normally ignored: her handbag. She always placed it on the chair near the kitchen table when she came home. Same place every evening, same routine. But now I watched more carefully than usual. The second phone wasn't inside it, at least not that night. The next morning she left earlier than usual, earlier than her normal work schedule required, earlier than she had left on any weekday in months. She took her handbag, and she took something else with her. Not her usual phone. The other one. I noticed because she checked it before leaving the house, not like someone checking messages, like someone confirming something. When she returned that evening, she came home later than usual again. Thursday? Same pattern as before, same delay, same calm explanation. Long day. That was always the phrase. Never details, never names, never reasons, just long day. Later that night, while she was in the shower, her main phone stayed on the kitchen counter, charging. The second phone was not there, which meant she hadn't left it in the drawer this time. She had taken it with her. Work phone, that made sense. Except something else didn't. Work phones usually stay silent at night. They don't receive notifications after office hours unless something urgent happens. Around 10:40 p.m., I heard a vibration from the hallway table near the stairs. Not from her main phone, from somewhere else. Short, quiet. Once, then again. 2 minutes later. When she came downstairs, she walked directly to the hallway table without looking around the room. She picked something up before I could even see what it was. Then she placed it inside her bag. She didn't say anything. She didn't explain anything. She didn't need to, because she thought I hadn't noticed. But I had. And the next morning, for the first time since I found the phone in the kitchen drawer, I checked something I normally never checked. Our wireless bill. I didn't expect to find anything on the wireless bill. If it was really a work phone, it wouldn't appear there. Companies don't route employee devices through personal family plans. They issue their own contracts, separate numbers, separate billing structures, separate providers. Still, I checked, not because I thought the phone was on our account, because I wanted to confirm it wasn't. The statement showed exactly what I expected. 2 devices, mine, hers, same as always, same numbers, same charges, no third line, no additional SIM, no hidden extension, nothing unusual. That should have ended the question. Instead, it created a different one. If the phone wasn't part of our plan, and it wasn't something I had ever seen her use at home before last year, then it had to belong entirely to her employer. Which meant something simple. There should have been a company name on it. Later that evening, I waited until she left her handbag on the kitchen chair again. Same place as always, same routine as always. This time I opened the side pocket carefully. The second phone was inside. Not powered off, not silent, active. The lock screen lit up the moment I touched it. No company logo, no security banner, no device management screen, just a normal home screen notification preview. One unread message, no sender name, only a number, and one line of text. Are you coming Thursday again? Not meeting Thursday, not shift Thursday, not client Thursday, just Thursday. Again. The same day she always came home late. I didn't open the message, I didn't scroll, I didn't unlock anything. I placed the phone back exactly where I found it. Same position, same pocket, same direction. Later that night during dinner, I asked something carefully. Do you still go into the office on Thursdays? She looked up from her plate. Yes. Same answer as always. Same tone as always. Same timing as always. Except this time, I knew something about Thursday that she didn't know I knew. Someone else expected her there, too. That message stayed in my head longer than I expected. Not the words themselves, the certainty inside them. Are you coming Thursday again? Whoever sent that message already knew the pattern. It wasn't a question about availability. It was confirmation of routine, something repeated often enough to become expected. Work messages don't sound like that. Work messages include context, time, location, project, client, meeting room, something specific. This message had none of that. The next Thursday, I left work earlier than usual, not dramatically earlier, just enough to be home before she normally arrived. I wanted to see something simple, whether she came home at the same time she always did. She didn't. 7:10 p.m. passed, then 7:40, then 8:15. At 8:32 she walked in. Same explanation as every other Thursday. Long day, Same tone, same calm voice, same routine. But this time I noticed something else. She wasn't carrying her laptop bag. Every Thursday before that, she always came home with it. That bag was part of her work routine. Every morning, every evening, every weekday, except that night. "Where's your laptop?" I asked. "I left it at the office," she said immediately. Too immediately. Not because the answer was impossible, because it arrived without hesitation, like she already expected the question. Later that night she left a handbag near the kitchen chair again. Same place, same routine. The second phone was inside, still powered on, still unlocked when I picked it up. This time there were 2 messages on the screen, same number, same sender. First message, "Are you close?" Second message, "I'm already here." Already where? Not the office. People don't write like that about offices. They write, "I'm already in the meeting room. I'm already downstairs. I'm already at the building." Not just, "I'm already here." That word only makes sense when both people already know the place without saying it, which meant the location didn't need explanation, which meant the location existed outside work. I placed the phone back exactly where I found it again. Same angle, same pocket, same position. At dinner I asked something else. "Do you still work late every Thursday because of the same project?" She nodded. "Yes, same one, same one. No name, no deadline, no details. Just the same one." Later that night I checked something I hadn't thought about before. Her calendar. Not the shared one we used for appointments. Her personal calendar on the kitchen tablet we both sometimes used when planning weekends. Thursday evenings were blocked. Every Thursday. Same time window, same label. Work. No location, no notes, no reminders. Just one word. Work. That was the moment something stopped feeling like coincidence, because people usually name recurring work events. Team meeting, client review, late shift, project sync, something identifiable. This one stayed unnamed for almost a year. The next morning I checked something else I had never checked before. Her office directory listing on the company website. Employee profiles sometimes include department contact extensions, desk locations, assigned mobile numbers, anything that confirmed equipment issued by the company. Her profile listed only one number, her normal one, the one I already knew. There was no second phone anywhere in her company records, which meant one of 2 things. Either the phone wasn't issued by her employer, or it wasn't meant to appear like it was. After I checked her company directory listing, the explanation about the phone being issued by work stopped making sense. Companies document equipment, especially phones. Security policies require it. Asset tracking requires it. Support departments require it. A second mobile device doesn't just exist without a record somewhere inside the system. Still, I didn't confront her. Not yet. Because one missing entry on a directory page isn't proof of anything. Sometimes those listings are outdated. Sometimes departments handle devices differently. Sometimes profiles aren't updated for months. Instead, I watched something else. Charging habits. That Thursday night, after she went upstairs, I opened the kitchen drawer again. The second phone wasn't there. Her handbag was still on the chair. I checked the side pocket carefully. It wasn't there either, which meant she had taken it upstairs with her. That hadn't happened before. Before that week, the second phone always stayed downstairs overnight, always. But that night it didn't. Around midnight I walked past the bedroom door and saw something through the half-open gap. A soft light, not the ceiling lamp, not the bedside lamp. A smaller light, phone light. She was sitting on the edge of the bed, facing away from the door, holding the device in both hands, typing slowly. Not like someone answering work emails, more like someone writing something carefully. Then she stopped typing, waited, read something, typed again. That rhythm repeated several times. Work messages don't usually happen like that at midnight, especially not on a Thursday. The next morning, the second phone was back in the kitchen drawer again. Exactly where I had found it the first time. Same position, same orientation, like it had always been there. At breakfast I asked something simple. "Do they ever call you late at night on that work phone?" She shook her head immediately. "No, never. Not rarely, not sometimes. Never." That answer stayed with me longer than the message from Thursday, because I had already seen her using it after midnight. Later that afternoon I checked something else I had ignored until then. Her desk at home, not the surface. The drawers she used for paperwork. Inside were folders she kept organized by category: insurance, receipts, warranty documents, travel confirmations, and one thin envelope I didn't recognize. No logo, no company name, just a printed label. Wireless account statement, not ours. A different provider, different layout, different formatting, different billing cycle. Inside was a single page, one number listed, one device listed, one monthly charge, and the account holder name printed at the top of the statement wasn't hers. The name on the statement wasn't my wife's. It wasn't mine either. And it wasn't the name of her employer. For a moment I thought it might belong to someone from her department. Maybe the company handled devices through shared administrative accounts. Maybe the billing structure worked differently than I expected, but the address printed on the statement removed that possibility immediately. It wasn't a corporate address. It was a residential one. Not ours. Not her office. Not anywhere I recognized. The billing date matched the current month. The device model matched the phone in our kitchen drawer, which meant something simple. That phone wasn't issued by her employer, it wasn't connected to our household, and it wasn't registered under her name. Someone else was paying for it. I placed the statement back exactly where I found it and closed the drawer slowly. That evening I waited until she came home and asked something carefully. "Does your company reimburse your phone plan separately?" She paused for less than a second. "No. Why?" Not confusion, not curiosity, just a direct answer followed by a question. "I thought they sometimes do that for managers," I said. "No," she repeated. Same tone, same speed, same certainty. Later that night she left her handbag near the kitchen chair again. Same routine as always. The second phone was inside, still powered on, still unlocked when I picked it up. This time the screen showed something different. A contact name, not a number, just one word. Thursday. Not a person's name, not a company, not a location, just the day. And below it, one unread message. "I left the lights on." Lights where? Not the office. Nobody writes messages like that about an office building, and not about a meeting. People don't leave lights on in meetings. That message belonged somewhere else, somewhere familiar enough that it didn't need explanation, somewhere both of them already understood. I placed the phone back exactly where it had been before. Same pocket, same position, same angle. Later that night during dinner, I asked another simple question. "Are you working late again this Thursday?" She nodded. "Yes, same as always." Same as always. The same phrase again. The same answer again. But now I knew something else about Thursday. Someone else expected her there, and someone else was paying for the phone she used to stay connected to that place. The address on the phone statement stayed in my head longer than the messages did. Messages can be explained. Addresses cannot. An address belongs to a place, and places can be verified. The next Thursday, I left work earlier than usual again. Not early enough to arrive home before she left. Early enough to arrive somewhere else first. I drove past her office building at 6:10 p.m. Her car wasn't there. That alone didn't prove anything. Sometimes she parked on the street instead of the company garage. Sometimes she left earlier than expected. Sometimes she worked from another building across town. There were explanations, but explanations only work once. Not every Thursday. So, instead of going home, I entered the address from the phone statement into my navigation system. It wasn't far. 12 minutes from her office, 7 minutes from our house. Closer than I expected. The street looked ordinary, quiet, residential. Small houses with narrow driveways and identical mailboxes. No businesses, no offices, no shared parking areas, just homes. I parked half a block away and stayed inside the car. Not because I expected to see something dramatic. Because I needed to confirm something simple, whether she would arrive there. At 6:47 p.m., her car turned onto the street. Not slowly, not searching, not hesitating. She drove directly to one of the houses near the corner and parked in the driveway like she had done it many times before. Not like someone visiting a new place, like someone returning somewhere familiar. She stepped out of the car carrying her handbag, not her laptop bag, not any work files, just the handbag. The porch light turned on before she reached the front steps, not after she knocked. Before, like someone inside already knew she was coming. The front door opened. Someone stood in the doorway. I couldn't see clearly from where I was parked. Only a silhouette, not tall, not large, not someone I recognized immediately. She stepped inside without hesitation. The door closed behind her. No greeting visible, no introduction, no pause, like she had entered that house many times before. I stayed in the car longer than I meant to, long enough for the porch light to turn off again, long enough for the street to return to the quiet it had before she arrived. On the drive home, I realized something else I hadn't noticed before. She had never once mentioned that address, not as a friend's house, not as a co-worker's place, not as a relative's home, not even as somewhere she had visited once. And yet she went there every Thursday. I didn't confront her that night. Confrontation without explanation only produces denial. I needed to understand why she went there before I asked anything about it. So the next morning I checked something simple. Property records. Most residential addresses appear in public listings somewhere. Purchase history, ownership registration, rental management contacts, something that connects a house to a name. The address from the phone statement appeared immediately. The owner's name matched the name printed on the wireless account, which meant the phone and the house were connected to the same person. That wasn't coincidence, it was structure. I checked the purchase date of the house next. 3 years earlier. The same year she started coming home late on Thursdays. The same year she first mentioned department changes at work. The same year she said her schedule might become less predictable for a while. At the time, that explanation sounded normal. Now it sounded coordinated. Later that evening, I asked something carefully. "Do you still see anyone from your old department after the restructure?" She looked up from the kitchen counter. "Sometimes," she said. "Not a name, not a person, just sometimes." "Anyone nearby?" I asked. "No," she answered. Too quickly, too directly, too complete. That answer closed the question instead of opening it. That night I watched something else more closely than before. Thursday again. Same routine. Same time she left the house. Same handbag. No laptop, no folders, no paperwork. Just the second phone. I waited 15 minutes before leaving the house myself. Not because I expected something different, because I wanted to confirm something specific, whether the routine repeated exactly the same way. It did. She parked in the same driveway, walked to the same door, entered the same house, and the porch light turned on again before she reached the steps. This time I stayed longer, long enough to see movement inside one of the front windows. Not two people talking, not a group, just one smaller figure moving across the room behind her. Not an adult, too short, too quick, too light. Someone younger, much younger. That didn't match anything I had expected to see. On the drive back home, I realized something else I hadn't noticed before. Every message on the second phone had come on Thursdays. Every late-night explanation happened on Thursdays. Every calendar block said "work" on Thursdays. But whatever was happening inside that house wasn't work. After I saw the smaller figure moving inside the house, the entire situation changed. Until that moment, everything I had reconstructed pointed in one direction. A second phone, a different address, someone else paying the bill, a weekly visit she never mentioned, a door opening before she knocked, messages that didn't sound like work. There was only one explanation that normally connects those details, but the movement inside that window didn't match it. It was too small, too fast, too familiar in a different way. The next morning I checked something I should have checked earlier. Her family records. Not the documents we kept in the cabinet at home, the older ones. The names she mentioned only once or twice in conversation years earlier, relatives who lived in another city, people she rarely talked about after we got married. There was one name I remembered. A cousin she helped years ago after a difficult situation in her family. At the time she described it briefly, said it had been complicated, said everything was handled now. Then she never mentioned it again. I searched that name. The property records for the house matched it. Same surname, same middle initial, same person. The house she visited every Thursday didn't belong to a stranger. It belonged to someone from her family. That changed the meaning of the second phone immediately. Later that evening, I asked something simple. "Do you still keep in touch with your cousin, Elena?" She looked up from the sink more slowly than usual. "Yes," she said. Not surprise, not confusion, recognition. "Does she still live nearby?" I asked. "Yes." Again, no hesitation. Again, no details. Just yes. That answer confirmed something important. She wasn't hiding the person. She was hiding the visits. Later that night, after she went upstairs, I opened the drawer where I had found the wireless statement again. The billing address matched the same house I had visited. The account holder name matched the cousin's name. And suddenly the second phone stopped looking like a secret relationship. It started looking like a separate connection, one that existed outside our house, one that existed before I knew anything about it. The next morning, I asked the only question that mattered now. "Why didn't you tell me you were going there every Thursday?" When I asked why she never told me about the house, she didn't answer right away. She just looked at me for a moment like she already understood what I had seen. "You followed me," she said quietly. "I saw where you go on Thursdays," I answered. She nodded once. "I was going to tell you," she said. "Eventually," I repeated, that word again. "Why not earlier?" I asked. She took a slow breath before answering. "Because it wasn't temporary," she said. Her cousin had lost her job 3 years earlier. What started as help once a week slowly became something she couldn't step away from. "She didn't want anyone else to know," my wife said. "She was embarrassed, so I kept it between us." That explained the house, the visits, the schedule. "But why the second phone?" I asked. "So she could reach me any time," she said, "without involving anyone else." Not another life. A responsibility she carried quietly. "I should have told you," she said. "Yes," I answered, "because silence still changes things, even when the reason behind it makes sense." Later that week, another message appeared on the second phone while it sat in the kitchen drawer. This time, she didn't hide it. The screen lit up. "Thursday still works?" She picked it up while I was standing next to her. "Yes," she replied. "Same message, same day, same routine. But this time, it wasn't a secret anymore. And somehow, that made the house feel closer than it had the week before."